INFJs are among the most complex and paradoxical personalities in the world. To meet them is to encounter a rare blend of warmth, kindness, and quiet intensity that can be both comforting and intimidating. They are often seen as the gentle souls of society, the empaths who notice what others overlook, and the protectors of the vulnerable. At first glance, they seem like the embodiment of niceness, always ready to lend a hand, offer a listening ear, or provide encouragement when life feels heavy. Yet, beneath this nurturing exterior lies a side that many never see, a silent, calculated, and dangerously precise version of themselves that emerges when their boundaries are crossed. If you're an INFJ who needs clarity, alignment, and a deeper connection with your true self, ensure to check out our INFJ Playbook. Inside, you'll find guided journal prompts, a checklist, a workbook, and everything you need to reconnect with your true self. The link is in the description of this video. The niceness of an INFJ is not a surface-level charm. It is rooted in deep empathy and emotional awareness. INFJs are highly attuned to the feelings and needs of the people around them. They can sense tension in a room without a word being spoken, pick up on subtle changes in tone or body language, and intuitively understand when someone is upset even if they are smiling. This extraordinary perceptiveness drives them to care for others in ways that feel almost supernatural. They are the friends who remember small details, the confidants who make you feel understood without explaining yourself, and the quiet encouragers who can inspire someone to keep going when they are ready to give up. They are genuinely nice because kindness is natural to them, not a strategy to earn favor. They often go out of their way to ensure others feel safe and valued. INFJs are the people who will stay up late talking to a friend in crisis, take on extra responsibility to help someone struggling, or extend forgiveness even when it is not deserved. Their niceness is active and selfless, often putting the needs of others before their own. This can make them appear almost angelic, as though they exist to soften the harshness of the world. However, their kindness should never be mistaken for weakness, because woven into the very fabric of an INFJ's personality is a hidden edge. Their danger does not manifest as physical aggression or open hostility. It is a quiet, psychological kind of power that can be far more unsettling. INFJs are observers and analyzers by nature. They are constantly watching, learning, and mentally mapping the behaviors and patterns of those around them. They may not always comment on what they notice, but they store this information, and over time, they develop a detailed understanding of who people truly are behind their masks. This makes them nearly impossible to deceive for long. When an INFJ is pushed too far, when they are repeatedly disrespected, manipulated, or taken for granted, their demeanor changes. They are slow to anger, but when the switch flips, it is absolute. Unlike more reactive personalities who lash out in emotional outbursts, an INFJ's response is measured, calm, and deliberate. This is part of what makes them so dangerous. They do not need to raise their voice or make threats. Their power lies in their ability to withdraw, to detach completely, and to make decisions that leave lasting consequences for those who wrong them. One of the most well-known expressions of this side of the INFJ is the door slam. This is not just a simple decision to stop talking to someone. It is an emotional severing that feels almost surgical. When an INFJ decides that someone can no longer exist in their inner world, the detachment is total. They will vanish from that person's life without drama or fanfare, leaving behind an empty space that can feel haunting to the one left behind. They are capable of erasing emotional bonds so thoroughly that it seems as though the connection never existed. For those who once relied on their warmth, this sudden and absolute withdrawal can feel like an emotional death sentence. Part of what makes this dangerous is the precision of their actions. INFJs are deeply strategic when wronged. Because they spend so much time observing and understanding others, they know exactly where the soft spots are. If pushed to the extreme, they can speak words that cut to the core, exposing truths people are not ready to face. They can dismantle toxic dynamics quietly and effectively, without creating chaos or drawing attention to themselves. Their danger is subtle and psychological. It lingers in the silence after they have made their move, in the weight of absence they leave behind. What makes this duality so fascinating is that their niceness and their danger come from the same source, their depth of emotional understanding. The reason they're so kind is that they feel deeply and care genuinely. The reason they're so dangerous is that they see the inner workings of people's hearts and minds and can act with surgical precision when necessary. They are not dangerous because they enjoy causing harm. They are dangerous because they know how to protect themselves and those they love when kindness is no longer enough. The INFJ niceness can make you feel safe, valued, and uplifted, while their dangerous side can make you realize just how much power lies in silence and self-respect. They are both the gentle hand that lifts others and the firm hand that closes the door when necessary. This duality makes them some of the most unforgettable and underestimated individuals in the world. Those who cherish their kindness will find a loyal, loving, and selfless ally. Those who betray them will discover that the quietest people often carry the sharpest edges. INFJs spend much of their time in deep reflection, observing life from an inner vantage point that few can access. Their introverted intuition allows them to see patterns before they fully unfold. This means that while they are smiling and offering kindness, they are also quietly taking mental notes. They can sense when someone's intentions are misaligned, when words do not match actions, or when subtle forms of manipulation are at play. They rarely act on this knowledge immediately because their instinct is to give people the benefit of the doubt. They watch, they wait, and they hope for the best. But if the pattern persists, their decision will be final, and it will arrive without warning. What makes their danger even more profound is the calmness with which they execute their boundaries. Unlike explosive personalities, INFJs do not thrive on conflict or chaos. Their power is in their stillness. When they finally make the choice to step back or cut someone off, they do so with such quiet certainty that there is no room for negotiation. They have already played out the scenarios in their mind, considered the consequences, and made peace with the loss long before the other person realizes what is happening. This is why people often describe an INFJ's departure as both shocking and irreversible. By the time they pull away, the emotional door has already closed, and nothing can reopen it. Another dimension of their quiet danger lies in the impact of their absence. When an INFJ is part of your life, their presence is often like a soft glow. You may not always notice the warmth until it is gone. They are the ones who send thoughtful messages, remember small victories, and create emotional safety without needing recognition. When that light disappears, the void it leaves behind is palpable. People often realize too late how much an INFJ was giving silently in the background, holding the threads of connection together with their consistent care. Losing that presence can feel like a sudden emotional winter, leaving others to confront the consequences of their actions without the comfort that once shielded them. The most intriguing part of the INFJ duality is that very few people ever experience the full spectrum of an INFJ's nature. To most, they remain the soft-spoken encourager, the patient listener, the friend who always seems to have time and understanding to give. To the few who cross them, they become an enigma, an untouchable, unmovable force that cannot be reasoned with once their decision is made. This contrast is not born of malice, but of self-preservation. The same depth that allows them to love so fully also requires them to protect themselves with equal intensity. INFJs carry an energy that lingers in the lives of everyone they encounter, and this is where the weight of their dual nature becomes undeniable. Their niceness is not loud or performative. It is subtle and enduring. They're the kind of people who make life feel softer simply by being present. When they smile at someone, it is genuine. When they offer support, it is heartfelt. And when they encourage others, it is because they truly believe in the hidden potential that most people overlook in themselves. Their kindness often flows in quiet gestures. A thoughtful message when you least expect it, a gentle word when you feel invisible, or a silent act of service that no one else notices, but that changes the course of someone's day. This enduring niceness is what makes their absence so heavy when their dangerous side emerges. For all their giving, INFJs are deeply protective of their emotional world. They know that their energy is precious, and although they will pour it generously into the right people, they will never allow it to be endlessly exploited. This is when the shift begins. The same deep empathy that makes them nurturing also makes them incredibly perceptive to insincerity, betrayal, and patterns of harm. They may not confront the offender immediately, but internally, a wall begins to form. What makes an INFJ's danger so profound is that it arrives without fanfare. There is no storm of anger, no dramatic display. It is the quiet withdrawal of someone who has already given every ounce of grace they could offer. This is why their departure feels haunting. One day, they're the gentle soul holding everything together. The next, they're simply gone. Their silence speaks louder than words because it is final and unshakable. When they reach this point, they are not acting from impulse. They have already grieved the connection, processed the betrayal, and decided with unflinching clarity that the relationship no longer serves their well-being. Another reason INFJs can be considered dangerous is their unparalleled insight into human nature. They do not just observe behavior, they understand motives. They can read the currents beneath the surface of interactions, noticing patterns long before others do. This insight, which normally fuels their kindness and ability to nurture, can also become a form of quiet power. If an INFJ chooses to speak the truth they have been holding back, they can dismantle facades with a single sentence. Their words are rarely harsh or loud, but they are precise and penetrating, capable of exposing the reality someone has been avoiding. In the rare instances they decide to use this ability defensively, it leaves an unforgettable impact. What truly defines the duality of an INFJ is their commitment to authenticity. Their niceness is rooted in wanting to make the world more bearable, more human, more connected. Their danger is rooted in refusing to allow the darkness of others to consume their light. They are healers, but they are not martyrs. They will not allow themselves to be drained indefinitely. Once they step away, they do so with a peace that feels both comforting and chilling, as if they have already closed a chapter in their heart and sealed it forever. The people who are fortunate enough to remain in an INFJ's life often experience the full richness of their niceness. Loyalty, understanding, encouragement, and unconditional support. But those who misuse their trust or exploit their generosity will encounter the other side of their nature, one that is defined by quiet but absolute self-protection. In this way, INFJs live as both a gift and a warning. A gift to those who honor their heart, and a warning to those who take it for granted. INFJs leave a mark on the world in ways that are often invisible until time reveals their impact. Their niceness, so gentle and consistent, has a way of shaping the lives of those around them. People may not always recognize it in the moment, but the subtle ways an INFJ supports, encourages, and uplifts others can alter the trajectory of someone's life. They are the quiet source of strength in a group of friends, the silent motivator in a workplace, and the unspoken glue in a family that keeps the emotional bonds intact. Their kindness is like a soft current, steady, flowing beneath the surface, unnoticed until it is gone. When this niceness is withdrawn, the contrast is jarring. Those who took their warmth for granted begin to feel the void acutely. The energy an INFJ carries is often irreplaceable because it is not just kindness. It is a deep, intuitive presence that makes people feel seen and understood. When that presence vanishes, it can leave others unsettled, realizing that the gentle influence they relied on was never guaranteed. This is part of why their dangerous side is so haunting. They do not need to punish or retaliate. Their absence alone forces reflection. The world feels colder without their light, and the sudden silence becomes a mirror in which others confront their own behavior. The danger of an INFJ is amplified by their emotional intelligence and patience. They give second chances, often more than they should, and they observe closely even when they appear quiet. They are strategists by nature, though they rarely use this ability for manipulation. Instead, they store knowledge, understand patterns, and wait for clarity before acting. By the time they choose to protect themselves with finality, they have already anticipated the reactions, the excuses, and the attempts at reconciliation. They detach not with anger, but with certainty, and that certainty is unshakable. It is a kind of quiet power that very few can match. Another layer to their dual nature is the way they handle confrontation. INFJs do not thrive on open conflict, yet when forced to defend themselves or someone they care about, they can be disarmingly effective. They may speak calmly, but their words are precise, targeted, and laced with undeniable truth. They can expose hypocrisy without raising their voice, dismantle manipulation without breaking composure, and leave an indelible impact with a few carefully chosen sentences. This makes their rare moments of assertiveness all the more impactful, because those who have only known their softness are often stunned by the quiet authority they can wield when provoked. INFJs are the healers who know how to disappear, the lovers who know how to let go, and the givers who know when to finally stop giving. Their niceness leaves a trail of warmth wherever they go, and their danger leaves a quiet, lasting lesson to anyone who mistook their kindness for weakness. To encounter an INFJ is to experience both comfort and awe, to feel the safety of their light and the respect demanded by the shadow they carry. In their presence, you learn that the softest hearts often hold the strongest boundaries, and that true strength is not in noise or force, but in the ability to love deeply while walking away without regret. What lingers most about an INFJ, long after they have left someone's life, is the echo of their presence. Their niceness is never ordinary. It carries a rare depth that makes people feel truly seen. For many, this is an experience they do not often encounter, a connection that feels safe, warm, and almost sacred. An INFJ listens not just to words, but to the spaces between them. They notice the tremor in someone's voice, the hesitation in their eyes, the quiet battles they never speak about. They hold that awareness gently, never using it to harm, and often offering the exact comfort someone needs without that person ever having to ask. It is this profound emotional intelligence that makes their kindness feel like a sanctuary. The danger of an INFJ is not in vengeance or malice. It is in the quiet, unshakable lesson their departure teaches. They do not need to raise their voice, make threats, or explain themselves endlessly. Their absence becomes the mirror, and in that mirror, people are forced to confront their own behavior. Many are left with regret, realizing that the gentle presence they once assumed would always be there was, in truth, a rare and irreplaceable gift. Even when they step away, INFJs carry no joy in the loss. They grieve silently, even for those who wrong them, because cutting ties is never a shallow act for someone who loves so deeply. Their withdrawal is an act of survival, a reclaiming of their peace and energy. But the very depth of the connection they once offered ensures that their absence continues to be felt. Memories of their small kindnesses, encouraging words, intuitive gestures, the sense of being completely understood, linger in the hearts of those they leave behind like a bittersweet reminder of what true connection feels like. Even years after an INFJ has walked out of someone's life, the memory of them often lingers like a haunting melody. Their niceness, so genuine and disarming, has a way of embedding itself in people's hearts because it is not fleeting or superficial. They do not offer empty compliments or shallow support. Every kind word, every thoughtful act, every moment of encouragement they give comes from a place of sincerity. People who have experienced that authenticity often struggle to find it again in a world that can feel indifferent and transactional. Their duality shapes every relationship they touch. In love, their niceness is intoxicating, drawing partners into a cocoon of unwavering support and deep emotional intimacy. They make their loved ones feel like they are the only person in the world who truly matters, because in those moments, they are. But that same depth is also where the danger lives. If the bond is betrayed, if the trust is shattered, the withdrawal of that love is unlike anything else. It is not vindictive. It is clean, silent, and final, leaving behind the ghost of a connection so profound that it cannot be replicated. Even in friendships and family relationships, the same pattern emerges. An INFJ support feels like a safety net that will never fail, a steady current of warmth flowing in the background. But once they are pushed past their emotional threshold, they vanish like a mist. The people left behind often realize, with a mix of regret and awe, that the foundation they had relied on so casually was never a guarantee. It was a gift given freely but never meant to be abused. This duality is what makes INFJs unforgettable. If you're an INFJ who needs clarity, alignment, and a deeper connection with your true self, ensure to check out our INFJ Playbook. Inside, you'll find guided journal prompts, a checklist, a workbook, and everything you need to reconnect with your true self. The link is in the description of this video.